What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. Today in this video, guys, we got Yeti, or you can just call him Ogre, whatever you want to call him. This guy is a beast, like literally in person too. I mean, this dude, like, you don't want to mess with him. You want him on your squad. Yeti, it's an honor to have you on the channel. Do you want me to call you Yeti or Ogre?
Man, you can call me pretty much anything you want.
Let's call you the Beast.
I'm down. Let's do it. Hello, everybody. What up? Beast here.
Beast here. Hey, tell me about yourself. Why'd you get into DFK? What's your story?
Well, shit. I got into crypto 2017, bought my first Litecoin in November, watched it moon from $56 up to 320 and caught the bug. So quarter one of 2018, as the market was crashing down, I put a whole bunch of money into crypto. And I've been a hoodler ever since.
Attaboy.
It kind of happens when you buy a whole bunch of $250 Litecoin, right? You're going to be sticking around for a while.
Yeah,
That
you
or
ain't kidding, dude.
be in paper hands, getting wrecked and getting out, but that's not my style.
That's not too bad. So, you're starting with Litecoin. Where did you get into this DeFi stuff, or like DeFi kingdoms in general?
DeFi Kingdoms, I actually found at the perfect time because it was like a month or two into my exploration of DeFi. I hadn't really done a whole lot with it. Like I played a little bit with Sesame Seed's Uniswap, the first DEX on Harmony, and then a little bit more with Viper Swap once it came out, but I never really jumped in. And I had some buddies in like a local crypto group who one of them was like a hardcore DeFi degen. So kept hearing about what he was doing and knew I needed to get into it. DeFi came along and I was like, all right, cool. I think I know the basics. I just saw my buddy tweet about it. And so I jumped in, and it turns out I was like within the first 12 hours of it launching. So I thought I was just taking a decent sized swing, but I think I was like one of the first people in the liquidity pool because I got ridiculous emissions that first day. And it's all just kind of gravy from there, really. DFK def changed my life.
Hey, you aren't kidding, man. So, did you compound in the beginning, or you stake it in the bank? What'd you do?
A little bit of both, actually. I did like a 50-50 split. I rolled 50% of it back into the LPs and put 50% of it in the bank. Yeah, it was nice. Grew my stack really fast.
Dude,
I
nice.
can't. For those of you that have never been in a DEX on day one, it's like unbelievable. The emissions are absolutely redonkulous. And for those of you that have never done that and are going to try it sometime in the future, be careful. Most DEXs will dump after a very short time. They'll find some whale, a whole bunch of whales will go in there, buy up a bunch of the tokens, and then get a bunch of free emissions. And before anybody else can dump, it's like a competition of who can dump the token first. That is
Yeah,
not a rug by the DEX. Those are whales flapping their giant tails and screwing people over in a degenerative way, hence the term degen.
that's rough. That's rough, man. And the term we call it is nuts and ham, man. Nuts and ham.
All right.
So,
Well,
now you kind of give us your story on DFK, how you kind of got into DeFi. Is DeFi Kingdoms and Sesame, were those your first two dexes that you played around with? Like me personally, I started. Well, first obviously it was with like the gateway, which was like Bitcoin.
Uniswap.
Yeah. Well, actually, I did Uniswap. I did the altcoin flipping. I didn't do the LPing. Like I wasn't the DeFi guy. I was like Bitcoin. Let me buy some altcoins and flip them. And then I got into DeFi when I saw a thing called Pancake Swap. It was like stake your cake to earn cake,
Yeah.
and then stake that cake that you earn to earn more cake. And I was like, what the snap is this junk? And so I played around with that, and that was over on Binance Smart Chain. And then Polygon came out, the rewards. It was really good. But like I didn't like DeFi Kingdoms was like eight months in my DeFi journey. How in the world did you get that one? Like seriously, DeFi Kingdoms is probably the best, hands down, the best returns in general,
I'm,
just period.
I'm not going to lie. A very large part of it was luck. I mean, I've been haunting the Harmony community since forever. Basically, since we went proof of stake, I've been running a validator. So I've been watching the community mature, helping it mature at times, waiting for projects to start really popping off. And I just lucked out that DeFi Kingdoms chose Harmony and turned out to be such a blockbuster of a project, because I definitely aped in on day one.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Heck
So,
yeah.
what's your relationship right now with DeFi Kingdoms? Do you talk with Frisky? Do you talk with the team, or are you just like a farmer, just like
No, I'll
everyone?
DM them periodically. Give them feedback from boots on the ground, if you would.
Yeah,
Let them know, like, if there's problems in the community or stuff's going sideways, or if there's a problem in the game from my perspective. I'll shoot them messages. They don't always reply. Sometimes they read it and they're like, okay, cool, got it. But yeah, no, we have conversations.
oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, do they give you any alpha, or they kind of just treat you just like another DeFi Kingdoms user?
They don't really give it to me, and honestly, I wouldn't ask them to. They run it like a business.
That's good.
They're very professional the way they're handling things, which I saw kind of from day one when I started probing them and did my little bit of research before I went, ooh, I think I found a rocket ship, and aped in. But yeah, no, super professionalism on the part of the team. So no, they would not do something like that as much as I financially might wish they would. Although
That's
realistically, I
awesome.
don't need that at this point. I'm on the other end of the cycle. I'm trying to give it out, not collect more.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. So now that you can kind of say that you made it, wag me, whatever you want to call it, are you going to continue to play this game? Are you going to play on Crystal Vale? Are you going to play on the other land launches? What are your plans with this game?
So right now, I am losing anywhere from 3 to 6 hours a day playing this game. I need those hours back.
Let's go.
So my plan is I'm going to put my brother on. He's going to run my heroes for me. I'll still play the game some. I'll still be in the chats periodically, but realistically, I haven't been in the main Discord chat in a long time. It got too busy, and once it gets crazy busy, like I'm like, meh. I'll go hang out in the guilds and the other sub places where I can actually follow the conversation if
Yeah.
I only have time to check in once a day. You know what I mean? Uh, but yeah, that's kind of how I flow there. But so my brother's I'm gonna pay him to run my heroes for a while we build out a scholarship program, and then the scholarship program will have the majority of my heroes, and they will be utilized for helping people better themselves.
Yeah.
Is the intent, and societies and whole communities um, get better.
I
So
remember you telling me about the scholarship program in East Denver. I'm sure the viewers would love to hear about this because there's a lot of people who don't even have any heroes and they'd like to get involved with something like this. Tell us a little bit about that.
So it may be to some of their dismay due to the time, because most of the people that I will be targeting initially are probably asleep right now in Africa. But I am in talks with members from the Africa DAO on Harmony, as well as a company that's already running like Axis scholarships in Zimbabwe.
Okay.
And I'm trying to kind of marry the two visions and purposes, take the already existing company and infrastructure that exists there in Africa with that company, kind of tailor it to what we need with DeFi Kingdoms and Harmony, and bring it into some of the Africa DAO nations. And then hopefully over time, I mean, I've got assets in other games as well. It's not just DeFi Kingdoms.
Okay.
And DeFi Kingdoms is my biggest uh, investment period at this point right now. Um, but yeah, so I mean, there's other assets we can pour into this program as well, and as time goes on, continue growing it, continue getting more assets, and continue growing the program till eventually, I mean, it'd be awesome if we get all of Southern Asia, Africa, and South America, basically anywhere there's a third world country, and somebody could live off of $300 or $500 a month. Let's bring this program there.
Yeah,
Uh,
no, that's sweet.
and change their worlds, elevate them a little bit. So it's kind of a way, in a way, it's a redistribution of wealth to a degree. But it's like using the dust off of the blockchain, right?
Right.
Uh, None of us are noticing it. We're not noticing that some of the wealth that is being created is going to these third world countries. We're still able to see our wealth and gain wealth over time if you're paying attention and doing good things in blockchain. So it doesn't affect anybody negatively, but it lifts people up in ways that people who have spent their entire lives in first world countries can't even imagine.
Yeah, no, that's really true. So, I remember you telling me it's going to be somewhat like a credit based system. Like you do good with this one hero, we'll give you some more heroes. Are you Do you have like time frames involved? Like, what would consider or what would make someone be worthy? Like, hey, look, you did the grind for a week, 2 weeks. Let me give you another hero, so you can earn all those items and call it a day, type of thing.
So it's too early to say how it's going to turn out. My voice is just one voice among many. Um, and I'm trying to spend more time listening to the members of the Africa DAO instead of talking and telling them how I think it should work. I want to hear what they need, right? And then we can tailor something to suit those needs that fits everybody's needs. Um, and something that they talked about doing was like starting in schools, taking children where they're going to essentially what we would call a private school in the US, but it's their public schools. It's just the better public schools.
Yeah.
Um, so they've got to pay to go to them. So, I mean, start out by basically paying those fees so that nobody has to pay to go to school anymore. Then put some money in their pockets so they can be rewarded. Not a lot because they're kids, right? But give them something that they can take home to their family and the family can be proud. Might even help a little bit elevate their individual family situation. But in reality, there is a lot of money to be made, and we have to be really careful how we do this. Because if we were just to give it all and be super altruistic and give 80% of it to the individuals, we would end up creating an economic crisis in that country because there would be so much wealth poured into a small portion of the population's hands at one time. So we have to be stewards of this. And the intent there and kind of the solution is we give enough to the family to help them out. And then the rest of it goes into like a community fund. We set up some sort of community DAO to where they say, okay, well, we've got this amount of money. These cities and villages have sent these proposals. We're going to select these two and use the funds from the DAO this month to pay for those two projects. Um, but to answer your question, before I went kind of off down a tangent, bring it all back, I like a tiered system to where there's a feedback loop, right? We give them like a phone with an app and a wallet that has one hero. And we tell them, all right, you got to send that hero on quest twice a day in DeFi kingdoms. And we explain to them what that means. Like the first thing when you get up, you got to send that hero, and then a few hours later, collect it. And then last thing before you go to bed, send that hero and collect it. Teach them how to do it, right? And then give them a week and see what they do. And those who actually do it, all right, cool. You just upgraded. You went to level 2. You now get 5 heroes. And those who didn't wash out, we replace them. Give somebody else a chance. Somebody who actually wants to do something, to take the opportunity and better themselves. There's a lot of people out there, and we can't help them all. So why would we sit there and focus on somebody who doesn't want our help?
Yeah, that's true. That's a really good point. No, I like that. And I know in general, there's a lot of people who actually are wanting to get heroes, and for someone who has a lot of heroes, you look at that and you're like, wow, I didn't really look at that or look at it like that, because you get in early into the game, and it's like, yeah, I remember buying these things pennies on the dollar, or at least getting them pennies on the dollar, and people look at the hero and it's like, dude, it's not that easy, and you're like, oh wow, you're actually right. So I mean, that's amazing what you're doing, man. I'm loving it. I'm all for it. I'd love to help you in any way with that. Um, so yeah, with the progress with that, let me know about that. Want to see if I can help with that too.
Also, I
So
see in chat a few people have kind of piped up and said the same thing. Appreciate everybody. And I'm sure there will come a time where we might just take you up on that. There'll be a time where we need to spread the word, get the marketing out there, and kind of grow the
the
project.
need is real. The need is real, man.
Because my intention is kind of to raise some funds initially as well. That way, we're starting with all the assets we have, but we're also poised to number one, do some good straight out of the bat and get the
Yeah,
DAO rolling, as well as grow the system right off the bat. Um,
yeah.
so yeah, lots of cool
So
stuff.
So kind of gonna make a tangent from this. Going back to, well, I mean, first we kind of want to mention this. A lot of people have been asking me, and a lot of people were asking for updated videos on DeFi kingdoms, and they're looking at the dual price action, and they're like, "Is it over? Is it going to be down only? What are your thoughts, man? Like, is it like,
I think there's been so I've been playing blockchain games since 2018, and there's a definite trend. Around the time of updates, there's typically a spike in price, and the longer as time progresses between a major upgrade date or expected update, things will kind of flag off and go down. So I probably would guess that because mining and gardening were promised and have not been delivered to mainnet yet, that causes some people some angst, right? Why is it not there yet? We have the promises of Avalanche coming up, the provinces of PVE and PvP, as well as land and buildings on land. So there's a lot in the pipelines, and we haven't seen a whole lot of development on that. So it's natural that people are just going to kind of go paper hand and be like, yeah, whatever. I'm getting out of this investment and going somewhere else, losing 50% of their money, and then going somewhere else so that they can lose 50% there in a month. Like, whatever. People do that. I don't get. I did it for a while, and I was like, wait a minute,
oh man,
don't do that anymore. Yeah,
oh man, dude,
I was doing.
this is so true."
Well, that's part of the crypto experience, right? Learning the ropes.
No, it's true, man. I literally have it's not a note on, it's not on my actual fridge, but I call it on the fridge. Like I see it every day. And I remember buying Luna like 60 cents, 50 cents, and I sold it at $3.50. And I
That's a
just
win.
sit
You
there
think about
and
it,
I
that.
just sit there and I'm like, bruh, what was I doing?
But it
But
could have been.
oh, dude,
You
I
know,
mean, I still have some Luna. I'm an uber bullish. I'm uber bullish on Luna. I love the ecosystem. It's just like, dude, what
yeah,
was I
moving forward.
thinking?
Well, I
It
mean,
was a
come on,
good
man.
portion.
One of my favorite quotes was Warren Buffett, and it's when he was asked how I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but when asked how he made so much money, his answer was by selling too early, right? Because you still made a profit of like what 5, 10. I don't even remember the numbers you spat out, but like 5 or 10x. That's a win. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, you sit there and fret over what could have been. You're going to ruin your day and miss the opportunities right in front of you that are there now. But yeah, no, I feel you, bro. It's like some of the moves I've made and some of the moves that could have been if I had been more patient, right?
yeah, no, I agree.
I mean,
So
I
your
sold like
thoughts?
the engine at like 30 cents. Granted, that's
Oh,
6
I
months away.
remember Engine, man. I still got some. I love Engine.
Yep, so do I.
There we go, bag hold, baby.
Yes.
Um,
Move back.
so so with Jewel itself, so just to sum it up, you still you think it's got some legs. We're just waiting for some more announcements, I guess you can say. Or do you think most of it's going to siphon into Crystal?
All right, so
Be honest, man. Look, like
crypto is
this is like me and you.
crypto is community, right?
Okay.
The bigger our community grows, the better our community grows, the more value there is in our community. The game is just an extension of our community, something for our community to form around. So I'm really excited about them going to other chains. I think it's going to bring more value to the overall ecosystem, which I think is going to flow back and forth, right? I mean, because there'll be times where Avalanche moons and Harmony doesn't. So the cost of summoning over there is 5 times what it is on Harmony. So everybody's going to migrate their heroes from there to Harmony for a few weeks and do all the summoning on Harmony. Maybe when the price comes back down, they move them back. Or maybe they pop over there just to do a few quests and come back. Something to keep in mind.
Yeah,
The
no, that's a really good point.
To my knowledge, the team's war chest, right? The money that they've made off of this is in Jewel. So the way they're building it, it's designed to funnel everything back to Harmony. Not that there won't be value that stands alone on those um, other chains, but by going to other chains, number one, it protects us. I love Harmony. It's my home. I kind of already expressed that. But what happened if tomorrow the code was just like savagely hacked and there was a vulnerability that was discovered that just couldn't be recovered from because it was like part of the core framework of the blockchain? Like that could happen. And all of my loves for nothing. along with most of my material wealth, right? But if I'm invested in games that exist on multiple blockchains, well, now there's a layer of security for my wealth, right? If
Yeah.
one chain goes down, the game still exists on 3 other chains. I just move my assets and I'm still rolling. Um, so, I mean, I think that moving to other chains is not just good for the team, it's also good for us as a community. Will we see some money jump off of Harmony and go over there day one of the DEX opens? I'm sure we'll see some. People are going to savagely attack that. I've been screaming for the rooftops, letting people know how I got mine, and that's how I got it. So, yeah, I expect us to see a massive inflow that may or may not last very long. I expect a lot of it will come back after it starts stepping down, and we'll see it kind of equalize. And then as the individual values of the chain's tokens fluctuate, like we said, we'll see kind of a dynamic ecosystem emerging to where everything's in a constant state of chaotic flux, but it balances.
Yeah, I think it'll be really interesting because the crystal tokens are going to be locked. It's going to be the same mechanics as Jewel. So if those tokens are locked, yes, the APRs may be higher, but the actual APRs that you can get up front, they may actually be lower than over on Harmony. So
Uh-huh.
with people leaving the liquidity pools, it's also going to jack up the APRs. So I think it's going to be pretty interesting to see what's going to happen. And it's a really good experiment because I remember 2 months ago or a month ago, people were like, "Bro, you're the dumbest guy ever for selling your locked jewel for $4." And now they look at it and you're like, bruh, I should have sold mine too. It's like, yeah, maybe. I mean, money up front's always much better than money later, but everything's in
Yeah,
hindsight. Everything's in hindsight, man.
20%
Um,
hit to have all that money to play around with right now and drop where you want it as the market's going up. Yeah, there's definitely something to be said that that might have been a very good move.
yeah. But as always, time will tell. We'll see what happens. It's going to be pretty interesting. I'm pretty excited to see what's going to happen with this crystal launch, especially with the dexes like on Harmony One. The APRs are still really high right now. A lot of people underestimate that because they're still unlocked. But
Yeah, I'm
we'll see
still
what
playing the
happens.
game purely off of my lock or my LPs. Like their feed, I just cash them in every few days, use it to summon heroes. Constantly have a little bit extra there from running my quests or level guys up and stuff like that. So I don't know. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. If you do it right, as you build up, you can build it up properly to where it feeds itself and you don't have to put more money into it. You can, over time, slowly and responsibly start pulling a little bit out to where it doesn't affect anything, but yet you're still winning because you've now got a faucet, right? That's my goal when I get into projects is to create faucets. Some of
Yeah.
them that I enjoy, like DeFi Kingdoms, I might spend more time playing with that faucet. Other ones, I just kind of go tap that faucet, grab my tokens each day, cash them out, move them to my current love or whatever project I'm focusing on right now. But that's a great way to kind of build your wealth is to build those faucets up. And then eventually, next thing you know, you're just tapping faucets. You can live off of it. You can continue investing off of it. And it's just self-perpetuating machine.
Yeah, it's so true. I don't know if you're playing around on Cosmos any, but you should probably look a little bit at osmosis. Um, osmosis is osmosis is the stuff, man. I've been in there
Yeah.
since April, and compounding that, man, is crazy. It's really good. Like it all started with free money because it was an airdrop, and the stinking free money, it turned from like I want to say it was like $5,000 or $6,000 into like 60 grand in less than a year. So like that's the power of compounding so people can understand that.
Yep.
It's crazy. But yeah, nothing as good as DeFi Kingdoms, that's for sure. I feel like Crystal is going to be what Jewel did, but like at a much more rapid pace. You probably saw Defira or Defira. Did you see that one launch?
I may or may not have had X rank locked since day one.
Well, that works. But I mean that Defira token, that price action was like literally it was rapid. It
Dude, it
was
was epic.
crazy.
Oh my
And
gosh.
yeah, most of the tokens are locked that you farm, and there is a small percentage that is unlocked. But I feel like it's going to be the same thing over on Crystal Vale because I'm sure it's, what is it, 98% is going to be locked and 2% will be unlocked. So there will
Right.
be a supply crunch out there. So everyone's going to be out there buying the crystal token. And when they go and farm the token itself, most of it's going to be locked. So it's like, oh, geez, well, I got to buy more of this. So I think we're going to have that type of price action until we start to see a catch up. And then you'll see like a steady down only. But as always, time will tell. We'll see what happens.
So I will say
And
this. Oh, go ahead.
Mr.
Sorry.
Nazari was asking for the winners of the giveaway. They will be announced at the end of the stream. So just heads up on that.
That was something else I was going to mention. We might want to jump into the chat. There's been a bunch of questions. We've been just chilling here and hanging out and having a good time, and there's a bunch of questions we got asked.
So here's one on the screen. Do we know what the first LP pools will look like? I guess on Crystal Vale is what he meant. Is that only single jewel staking and maybe the bank for Crystal Vale, or will there be more?
So
yeah, go ahead.
I haven't heard a solid answer. The way they did it on Harmony was they launched the decks and they funded a few of the pools, and then it went from there. I would imagine that they're going to do kind of the same thing, but do the airdrop first so that we have the funds to throw in liquidity, and then very shortly after launch the decks, and then very shortly after that launch the game. That was kind of the model that they followed here on Harmony. They've already developed it, so it should be even more rapid. Bam, 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 bam. Once they launch there, which will be good if we get some attention over there on day one, and then they're dropping large updates like that every week. Like that will create a fervor over on Avalanche for people that don't already know about DeFi Kingdoms. So there's definitely opportunities for some cool stuff to happen. I would say.
I just don't understand why people don't check out the Harmony chain. But that's just my thought.
They will.
So here's another one from Jonathan Hicks. Ogre, do you think that Jewel and Crystal are going to be the tokens to have for those initial LP high APRs, or is there going to be another large factor? I think what he's meaning is maybe like Crystal Bitcoin or Crystal Luna, or is it going to be the biggest pool is going to be like your Crystal and Jewel?
I would say it's probably going to be Crystal and Jewel and Crystal and Avalanche would be my guess. Would be the two like no-brainer pools they're definitely going to have. Beyond that, I'm not sure. They may end up having some ecosystem tokens. They may end up having like an Avalanche Jewel pool. I'm not sure. I don't think that they've said yet. Have you heard anything?
No, but I'm going to assume it's going to be the same setup as Crystal Vale. So they're probably going to use the power token, which is going to be your Crystal, with like the chain token, which is going to be Avalanche. I'm sure they'll have like a Jewel and a Crystal pool, but I'm probably 98% sure most of the rewards are going to be heavily weighted towards the Avalanche and Crystal pool, just like they did on Harmony. But time will tell. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. I kind of like Dawn's question.
Yeah, I was looking for that one about DeFi. Do you think in the future DFK and DeFi will have a bridge to a common land, ultimate merge, crossover realm?
I think that it won't necessarily be intentional, and neither project will necessarily plan it, but if nobody else does it, maybe I will. Like, I anticipate there being. So, if you remember the original web, before Google and other web crawling search engines came along, like you navigated the web and it was kind of like jumping through wormholes, right? Like you go from this website to the next website because you clicked on a link. And then from that website, the only place you can really go is back or to another clickable link on that website and then go there. And it was kind of like traveling through space from planet to planet. It was weird. And that's kind of like cryptocurrency is right now. Like we don't have a solid way to connect things. And I think that the next generation of Google or search engine will come around. But in the meantime, between now and then, we're going to see the metaverse start forming piecemeal in that fashion where I might create my own little like Second Life metaverse and tie in Web3. And then I'm going to have links to all of the games and projects that I love. So from my metaverse, yeah, you'd be able to walk through a portal and end up in Defira. Or if you go through that portal over there, you land on DeFi Kingdoms page. So that's the way I envision it being built. And maybe I'm wrong, but there's a lot of projects out there kind of building their own metaverse, just like
No,
we had
I
with the internet and the websites back in the day. And what happened is over time, protocols and standards emerged, and those that adhered to that then connected to each other and survived. And those who typically did their own thing, most of them died off. A few of them, like Apple, managed to be the best of their proprietary sandboxed in stuff, so they won, and they survived along with the rest who met the main standard.
Yeah, no, I agree with what you're saying, and I think it's going to be a like Ready Player One type of future, or even like Super Smash Brothers. Like Super Smash Brothers, it literally has like Pokemon characters. It's Captain Falcon. I mean, it's got a
Awesome,
bunch of different games all in one, and they're
right?
all battling each other. I think it's going to be something like that. Either the teams are going to create it, or someone else is going to do it. I mean, everything's open source, so
Right.
someone's going to do it.
Yep.
Um, let's see. So we
And
got
those
another
players that
question.
are battling each other aren't even going to be play or like little game players. That's going to be you and me, and those are our skins.
Yeah, you ain't kidding, man. It'll be crazy. So we got one from Armin 870. Are you guys bullish on Jewel, or you think it's going to be down only because of its Dex token like Uni and Pancake?
So you keep asking a question and pausing, so I want to like jump in and answer it. I'm not trying to be a dick here. If you want
No,
to answer
answer it.
it, okay,
We're gonna go because you're on top. You go first. You're the
all
beast.
right.
I don't mess with the beast.
So, Armand, my take on that is that Uniswap and Pancake are dexes. Their emission token, right? Their governance token is a joke. There was FOMO over it in the beginning, just like there was with NFT art and with DeFi. People didn't know what they were doing. They were like, "Ooh, new shiny toy, make money, go get," and they jumped on it. But the problem is nobody cares about governance of a decentralized exchange. Like, why? I'm not going to pay a bunch of money just so I can tell a bunch of devs what to do who probably aren't going to listen to me anyways. I'm going to be bitching for 6 months because the community voted to get something done and they decided not to do it. Like, nope, not where I'm spending my money. Um, in my mind, the way DeFi Kingdom sets itself aside is its emission token that you get for dropping your funds into the LP actually has a use case. Granted, it's the governance token for DeFi Kingdoms, but it's also the in-game currency. There's a lot of use case. There's a lot of buy pressure, right? And that's the key. If there's no buy pressure, that token goes one way. You got to have a reason for people to go out and buy it if you want to prop that price up and maybe even go upwards. And that's the difference. Like with DeFi Kingdoms, it's not just a DEX. That's why they called it GameFi. It's a DEX that facilitates a game, or a game that facilitates a DEX, depending on how you look at it. But right now, I'd probably say it's a DEX that facilitates a game because we don't have a whole lot of game yet. They're still working on it. But that'll change eventually.
Yeah, I definitely agree to that. And then we also had a comment from Koval King Jewel. Also, oh wait, wrong one. That here it is. He basically said that describes HOAs. But what about DEX governance tokens? Okay, so yeah, I agree. It does describe HOAs. Those guys
Hate
literally do
HOA.
nothing, and if you
Nothing.
don't pay it, they just take your house. And it's like, what the snap,
Ah,
dude? Like, I'll
yes.
move my trash can. Just don't find me $1 million.
That's funny.
Um,
I literally just had that exact same conversation at a
yeah,
friend's
dude,
house last night. Trash
it's
cans and
bad.
all about the HOA. Like that's
It's
it's
bad.
hilarious.
It's bad. It's bad. But going back to the DEXs and the governance tokens, you have to create a use case and incentive around these. DeFi Kingdoms creates the incentive around the Jewel token itself for those users who actually played the game. In order to summon these different heroes, they need the Jewel token itself. So they really aren't incentivized to sell the token. They're taking their farming rewards. They're depositing it back into the game by summoning these heroes. You have to look at all these dexes and all these games like Ponzi's. And once you do that, you understand the whole thing. Another example is like Curve. Does Curve really pay anything for its liquidity? No, it really doesn't. In fact, what happens is on Curve, you're farming these Curve tokens with your stable coins, and you're incentivized to take your rewards and give it back to Curve so you can earn more Curve, which you then give back to Curve to earn more Curve that you give back to
costs them
Curve.
nothing to give you.
So you're not making anything. In fact, if you keep playing that casino game, the Curve holders are getting a percentage of your swap fees. So they're actually taking your money if you think about it. So you're actually paying Curve to provide liquidity. Crazy thought, but keep it in mind. That's how these DEXs and governance tokens work. They're all either a plain old Ponzi or they're sophisticated Ponzi's. Some of them are actually clean and smart about it. And the ones that are sophisticated just last longer. That's how you can look at them.
If you think about it, in many ways, you could almost describe all of life, governments, everything is kind of a Ponzi to a degree. I mean, you throw money at it and it all filters up to the top and the people at the bottom get screwed.
Dude, I had the weirdest thought. Like, you know how Luna bought $1 billion worth of Bitcoin and it pumped Bitcoin? What's interesting is, what if every protocol just starts buying up Bitcoin? When they buy, no, like it'll be the ultimate Ponzi. They buy Bitcoin, it'll pump it, it'll pump their coin, so then they can buy more Bitcoin, and then Bitcoin pumping will pump their coin and repeat the process, man. It'll be like the best flywheel ever. I mean, dude.
The funny part is I expect that to happen in the next few months because
that needs to happen.
That's not the first time I've heard that said. Like, people are keying in on that after what Terra did, and they're like, huh, could we create something that just keeps on going?
I mean, dude, create the flywheel. Create the FOMO, and then other people will come in, like the major investors, and then they'll start buying Bitcoin, and it's like, bro, Bitcoin's where it's at. And it's like, dude, my protocol's pumping like 3x over Bitcoin. I'll just buy more so I can pump
these some more. That's not a healthy way for it to happen. Let's be real. Like, that's a pump and dump. Like that, I could see that legitimately happening this year and being the trigger for our all-time high. And then we have that bubble pop and a massive dump, the likes of which we've never seen.
Come on, pamp it. Oh, dude, it would be bad. All right, so we got a couple more questions. We got Mike. He's making, well, actually, this one's more sort of a comment. He's basically saying, I'm sending out 15 heroes to the perilous journey, mostly uncommon ninjas and summoners, about 40 to 50. Man, that's pretty good. Can I win a Gen Zero? You will get in a raffle ticket. In fact, I've heard this. They're giving 100 per. So, like, if your guy loses, there's actually going to be 100 Gen Zero heroes for that pool. So, like, if you win like a raffle ticket, it'll be for that pool. And if you win, well, you're going to be in that pool. So it's actually split up like 100 heroes in each. So you actually have a chance of winning 2 gens. Well, actually more than that, because if you keep winning multiple times. But still, the uncommons are actually a good way.
I think it's 1 per address. So you have more chances to win, but you're only going to get, you might be able to win both the winner and loser pool, but I don't think you're going to win more than once in any single pool. They typically only had 1 winner. I could be wrong there. But typically with my experience and the way they've run it in the past, there's only 1 per wallet.
Yeah. Cook or Kuvi King said 1 per wallet. So yeah. This one's for you. Ogre, when Levana and DFK join force. You play Levana, right?
I am. I believe you do as well.
Attaboy. Attaboy.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Free Martians. No, it's the Terrans, man. It's the Terrans. Forget the free Martians. But Ogre, when Levana and DFK join forces?
As soon as possible. Trust me, I've been pushing for that in the background. I would love to see it. Can't promise anything. Don't know that it's even going to happen. Won't be soon. Because the focus, at least for DFK, is on launching on Avalanche. And for Levana, it's launching.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
It's going to be a hot minute before we see something like that. But I will definitely do my best to make it happen because it's kind of what I do. I find projects that I think are good, and then I try to connect them.
That's true. Yeah, that'll be pretty cool to see. What is it? DeFi kingdoms over on Lavana, or not Lavana, on Terra. That'd be pretty interesting.
Or on Lavana.
Yeah, or on
like we were
Lavana.
just
That would be
saying,
really interesting.
just connect all the metaverses.
Yeah, you know. So what do you think's the next chain? A lot of people are speculating that it's going to be Phantom. I think they should go to Phantom, but we'll see.
I would love to see Terra, honestly.
Yeah, Terra would be sweet.
That would be my vote. I think between Poly, Phantom, and Terra, Terra has the most unique use case, which gives
Tell me
it the
about it.
most probability for surviving, right? If everybody else is competing for the same market share, they're not all going to survive. They're going to merge and some will die off. So I love the fact of what they've done there with the algorithmic stablecoin and then using Luna as like the tail end and now backing it by Bitcoin. I think Luna is definitely a winner long term. And I wouldn't call it a blue chip like I call ETH and Bitcoin a blue chip, but it's close,
She's a blue chip.
right?
She's a very volatile blue chip, but man, dude, that $3.50, man, I just stare at it and I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know what I was thinking, but it works. It works. I don't even know what I ended up buying in exchange for it. Like, I
You
don't
probably
even
don't
know.
want to know. It was
Yeah,
probably
dude, it
really
was probably
smart,
like
something
Cardano
stupid.
or something, or Litecoin.
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
Hey, I got some Litecoin. I
We're
got
just tagging
some.
on Litecoin.
Litecoin's where it's at. I got
Hell yeah,
some,
it
man.
is.
I gotta hold some just in case.
I got a bit of it.
All right. So yeah, it looks like we caught up with most of the questions. Yeah, I think we caught up with some of them. All right. So back to DeFi Kingdoms in general. Are you going to play over on Crystal or are you mainly going to stay on Harmony?
I'm going to be everywhere. I mean, in part, they've already said that there will be profession quests over on Avalanche where you'll get certain rewards that you won't be able to get over on Harmony. So they're kind of not really forcing us, but in a way forcing us. If we want to stay relevant in the game and like succeed as a gamer, like I don't know about you, but I'm in my mind, the game is a puzzle, right? It's a tactical problem to be solved. And I'm competing against everybody else in the community trying to figure it out first so that I can get some sort of financial advantage.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at projects to kind of try and, especially games, like trying to reverse engineer the game and be like, ooh, okay. So if I keep doing this, then I'm going to get that, and that's going to help me win this over here. Yes, I'm going that way, and I'm doing it with everything before everybody else does, and then I'll share it with other people eventually. But I mean, probably more
Yeah,
so than
no, that
I didn't
works.
used to have what I have now, so I was more secretive with it, so I could gain financial advantage. But I don't suppose I really need that at this point.
Yeah, no, that's true. Well, money. Once you get enough of it, at that point, it almost becomes like just a measurement tool. Once you have enough to suffice and eat, money is like one of those things. You're like, okay, am I successful? Okay, did I make? How much did I make on this play? How much did I make on that play? Okay, cool. I made more than that one, so it was good. It's almost like a measurement tool. It's an interesting way to think of it, but that's kind of how I look at it. I'm sure you do as well.
Yeah, it's a bit
Um,
more savage, actually. I look at it as the tool through which we are all enslaved,
that's a
because
good point.
until you have enough money, your whole life revolves around money. It is
You'll never have
everything.
enough.
That's not true. As long as you don't get greedy. Now, there is also the natural tendency to, yeah, once you get enough, you buy that big house, you look over your neighbor, like, ooh, their car's better. I'm going to go buy a bigger car. And then I got a
Yeah,
bigger
you
boat. And I got a
see,
better
and then
plane.
eventually
And
you're like,
it's
let me buy
ridiculous.
their house, and
And
then
now
you
you're
need to buy
competing to
more.
launch the first rocket into space. It's like, come on, guys. Like, really? How about you turn around and give some of that to some other people and help them eat? Like, isn't that more important than like your plane being better than Bob's? But a lot of people get lost in the sauce and just kind of overwhelmed in the money, and it goes to their head, unfortunately.
Yeah, dude, we seriously need some more people who are actually giving. It's tough, man. Like you look at this world and it's like, man, how are we still going at it? But is what it is. Um, Danny Reeve made a comment saying DeFi aiming for Kronos with Mimas will be on Cosmos IBC, so might connect with Levana first. Thoughts?
I don't know. I hadn't even really gone down that road. I'm not as close with the devs on Defira as I am with the ones over on DFK. So I would need to massage my way into their DMs first. But I could probably make that happen. It does kind of make sense with them connecting to Cosmos and the IBC, whereas DFK is connecting to Avalanche and their bridging system. So kind of, yeah,
Yeah, I
definitely.
know they got the subnets coming out too, and this is actually a pretty good point right here. Hope DFK launches on subnet on AVAX and use Joule as gas. I wonder
And
if they will. I wonder if they will use Joule instead of Crystal.
I was looking at that question, and I don't know where I heard it. I don't know if it came from a team member, or if it came from a community member, like in the same manner. But it's not the first time I've heard that mentioned. But I can't say what capacity I heard it in. Right? I don't think it was anything official that it was going to do that, because hell, I've asked Frisky about the subnet on Avalanche and whether they're going down that road, and I get the answer.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't make sense to me that I heard it from anybody official. It was probably another community member asking the same question. But I do love the idea. I think it'd be cool.
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty important that they protect the value of Jewel, because if people look at Jewel and they see that it's like down only, they might see the same fate as Crystal, and it'll create that negative feedback loop.
Yep.
I'm sure the team knows that they're like the
Oh,
master of
yeah.
Ponzonomics, but we'll see what happens. They're good. They're good, man. They're really good.
Well, they are. I'm pretty sure it's Dreamer was like a VC at JP Morgan or something like that. Like really well economically based banker type knowledge that threw down the shackles of Wall Street and has come over to blockchain. And whether it's him or whether it's JP Morgan, I can't say for sure, but I know that they have a VP from a bank who was a former economist and obviously has that knowledge on their payroll as one of the core team members. So yeah, they're definitely looking at that type of stuff and running all sorts of models. I'm sure, testing the scenarios and looking at how it'll be affected.
Yeah, no, it definitely does look interesting. Because I mean, like, you think they're going to come out with something, but it ends up being like 10 times what you thought it would be. Like, it's like, dude, I didn't even think of it on that level. What's going on? Like, they got some smart people on their team.
Yeah, they do.
William Harrison, he asked, will fees have to be paid in AVAX? If it's on a subnet, they could probably choose their own gas token. So time will tell. We'll see what happens. And then we have this one from BioLaser. Any update on the new class from Crystal Vale? This is actually something I'm pretty interested in hearing if you know anything about it, because I know they're going to have two classes.
So looking at the lore, the videos, and the stuff that's been put out, I kind of asked to the team. And my guesses were either a Viking and Berserker for like your melee class, and then like a Seer or Oracle for your like ranged class slash mythic class. And I was told good guesses. So I don't know if I got them right, and it's like two of those four, or if they were just quietly saying "fuck off," we're not telling you. Pardon my French. I'm not sure, so I can't confirm or deny. But I did get that response from them, which to me
Okay.
seemed affirmative. At the time, I felt like I guessed properly, and it's going to be like a Viking or Berserker, and then like some sort of like mythical seer oracle type.
Yeah, I think if they add another hero to the pyramid, like being able to summon a Dread Knight with someone else, I think that would be interesting, because now you'll have more whales and more people who are trying to get that additional hero, siphon more money back into the system. And I think that's what they really need to do. Because right now, the flywheel is pointing the wrong direction. The flywheel is pointing down as we speak.
Yep.
So I'm kind of I'd like to see what they do, but we'll see. We'll see.
I
And
mean,
someone
I
was
know it.
asking about RuneScape. Yeah, dude, RuneScape is like where it's at. Seriously, I'll take you in the wilderness. What were you saying, Ogre?
Well, I was gonna. Yeah, I love what Mex Mike said there. Beautiful. I love it. That's exactly the way it's supposed to work.
Yeah, dude.
Um, and other than that, I mean, the flywheel, your comment, it cycles, right? I mean, it goes up, it goes down, it has to come down. And as much as it sucks for the people that bought it at $20 and thought it was going to keep going up, I know that blows. I mean, hell, people that bought it $10 for that matter, right? Um, it will go back. They're still building. The game hasn't gone away. They are building value. So it's just about patience at this point, right? And that's what the stock market is. It's another Buffett quote: that the stock market is a tool for moving money from the impatient to the patient. Again, paraphrasing, but that's true. I mean, investing and really making it. Can you do it overnight? If you invest on the right day in Doge, and the whales decide to pump it, and 2 days later you get out, yeah, I suppose it's possible. But that wouldn't have been overnight. That'd been 48 hours, right? Still
Yeah,
takes time. But in reality, I mean, when I invest in a project, even when so sometimes I'll just go like degen and I'll find 10 projects, learn a little bit about them, not get involved in the community, and just drop a little bit of money on each of them. And I won't even look at them for 6 months, right? Because it takes time to build. So, with that in mind, that's the way to best build true value. And that's the approach that I take. I find good projects that I can get behind, that I like the leadership. I like the idea. I like the team and everything that's in place. And I invest my money, and then I invest my time. I jump in the community and I try to help push the bus, and I help build value in that project from the community side. And then over time, maybe I'll start extracting a little bit of value, or maybe I'll wait a long time and extract a lot of value. It depends upon the project and how it's growing and what it needs. Um, but that's something that anybody could do, right? I'm not special. I don't have some superpower. Everybody listening right now could turn around and start doing the same thing tomorrow. There are so many awesome projects in this space right now that are undiscovered because two devs in their mom's basement thought they could just make something and it would magically work. Uh, yeah, jokes on them all over the world. It doesn't
yeah.
work,
No, it's
no matter
so
what country
true.
you're in. You got to have marketing, you got to have tokenomics experts, you got to have research, which gives opportunities, right? Those devs are eventually going to realize that they need more. And we, the community members, can step in. I've heard stories of people who are just randomly find a community and invest in a project. And next thing you know, they're COO. They're running the freaking project from the
Yeah,
operations side. That happens. That could be you. Personally, I don't want another job. I want my own money. I want to be the guy paying people. But if you want a job, they're out there. And as an intermediary step between not having a job and being the job, working for somebody is a good opportunity.
that's true. Yeah, and you also made a really good point in the beginning, picking a bunch of different projects. It's a really good point because you can't win in the game of darts if you never throw that dart. So, like, if you're just sitting there and you're like, I'm gonna hold all my darts and never throw them, you're
I
gonna
know.
be sitting there and like, nah, bro, throw the dart. Yeah, you may miss a bunch of them. You may lose a lot of darts in the process. But if you're young enough, at least you played the game. At least you tried. Now you get better. You get better at practice, and now you can take the darts, the new darts you win or earn, and start throwing them at the wall again. Time will
Well,
tell.
that's
We'll see what
also
happens.
especially why when you're starting out, as much as you want to throw everything at it, because everything might only be $20, you don't, right?
Yeah,
Be smart about it. Be patient with it. Win over time. That's the most surefire way to do it, right? So you have your whole portfolio. I mean, depending upon what age you are and what risk tolerance you are, you might only want to be playing with 10% of it, especially when you're learning, right? So leave the 90% somewhere where it's earning money and take that 10%, and that's your play money. Now take 10% of that and spread it across 10 companies, 10 projects, right?
that's
So
true.
that way even if all 10 of them don't hit, you've still got 9% of your original money to keep playing with, right?
Yeah,
And that 90% is safely building value for you, so that who knows that it starts compounding, and over time You realize that you were just over here having fun, and that really made the money for you.
Yeah.
But in reality, if you throw it and you do a good bit of, even a little bit of research, and you've kind of refined your process so you have a few red flags you check for, right? The chances are you throw darts at 10 projects, at least one of them is going to pop off and cover the other nine. Then you start getting lucky, and two or three or four of them pop off, and one of them cover the other nine. So now those other two or three are all profit, grows your nut roll a little bit bigger, and now you have more to play with. Put a little bit into that perpetual growing safety fund, and your bundle of money that you get to play with now gets a little bit bigger. You can take some bigger
Yeah.
swings.
All right, so I want to ask you two more questions, and they're going to stem off our conversation in the past 10 minutes, and then we'll go ahead and do that hero giveaway. The first one is, how do you decide what is a good project? Like, do you look at the community and say, oh, okay, well, this community is doing this, this, and this, I'm bullish. Like for me, for an example, if someone shows a project to me, the very first thing I do is I go to the Discord and the Telegram and I say, okay, they have 30,000 users and 1,000 of them are active. I'm not messing with it. It's trash. Not it's trash, but like that is just the metric I use. If there's not a lot of activity over there, there's not an active community. And I invest in people, not Ponzi's, and everything's a Ponzi. So if there's no people, well, then I'm only investing in a Ponzi. So I need to find people. So I look for the people. If they're active over there, that is one of the metrics that I use.
Yep.
What is something that you use, or some
Well,
things that you
in
use?
my mind, that's what I bring to the table. I am good at communities. So I don't care what their community looks like. And honestly, I almost enjoy finding a community that's just toxic because I enjoy cleaning it up. I've done a bit of troll hunting in my years. I've been clan member and guild leader and all this other stuff. So I've learned how to deal with trolls pretty well in my mind. So that's not really something I care about because that's something that I can fix personally and help the project out if I like the project. Some of the core things I look for are communication, right? Because that's not something I can fix. If the team is not communicating effectively with the community they have, that's a problem in my world. That's probably one of the biggest problems. Another red flag I look for is how much effort has been put into the project thus far before they start asking for people's money. Um, if it's just a hope and a dream and 3 documents, like that's a little more risky than if they've already got an MVP, a minimum viable project on the game, right?
Yeah.
That's a whole different scenario. Now, most of them don't. Most of them, there's a bit of a hope and a dream because that's what crypto's all about. Everybody's trying to change their stars, not just
Yeah.
us community members, but the devs as well. So they know what they can do. They sell some money so they can live off of it for a month and build it, and then go from there. A couple other things that I look for is organizational structure of the team, and whether or not even is a team. Is it like one person, or is it 5 people, or is it 20 people? When you've got 20 people on a project, that gives a little bit more of a stability vibe and lends a little bit more confidence than the two dudes in a basement scenario. Because the two dudes in a basement scenario don't even know what they need. So now I have to compensate for what they don't have and do it for them against them in some cases because not
Right.
only do they not realize they need it, but sometimes they don't want you doing it. But you're just trying to protect your investment when some DA devs don't know any better. You're trying to get your value back out. That does happen sometimes. What else do I look for? A solid website that really conveys a message, tells you what the team is about. Because a project or a team is all about the community, which means it needs a leader, and the leader, to a degree, should be that project, right? And to lead people, there's lots of different management styles and leadership styles out there. But in my mind and research, the most effective leadership style that I've found thus far is merely to explain yourself clearly, right? Figure out what your vision is, what you're trying to do, and most importantly, who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And when you can take all of that and convey it to the people on your team, right, in your company, then you can be far more effective. And if you can do that to the people outside of your company, then by God, you can make it to the moon. Um, because in reality, sales comes down to who you are, not what you're selling. A true salesman doesn't have to sell a product; they sell themselves. The
Yeah.
product doesn't really matter. You make it to you meet people and you engage them, and they appreciate that true and honest engagement. And because they like you, they want to buy something from you. So when a project understands that and kind of that's one of those more nebulous things. It's harder to see. You kind of got to jump in DMs with team members and feel them out to a degree. And I'll do that too. That's part of why I like finding projects early on. And once they get so big that the devs lose your DMs amongst the 100 other ones they got that day, and you can't follow a conversation in chat, that's when it starts getting less fun for me, and I'll start looking for another project to begin helping out.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I know a lot of people like the grind, but they don't like the destination. They like the grind in order to get to that destination. That's what they look for. And then once they get there, it's great, it's fun, celebrate, but time to go find the next one.
Yep.
So, second question. With that in mind, what are some projects you're looking at now?
Right now, the two main ones I'm looking at are actually three main ones, um, aside from DFK, obviously.
And then why? And then why?
Okay, so Lavana,
Okay.
one for diversity, and I've got a early DFK vibe from them. Um, I kind of like where they're going. I love the way they're kind of turning the chat into the game initially until the game is built to keep people occupied and happy. It's brilliant. And then they have little mini games they're developing on the course until the main
Salem's.
right until the main game is launched. So they're making a lot of the right moves, and I appreciate that. They're very good at communicating. You could get the team. We could get the team, any one of the team members on here on a live stream within a week, no doubt.
Yeah, they've been on a couple times. I like them.
Yep, exactly. So that's why I like them. And I did not find them early. I actually found them late. It dropped way more Luna than I wanted to, but it was worth it to get that cool position, right? You got to ape in. Got to ape in.
Let's go.
The next one I would say would be Trank slash Defira.
Okay.
I don't know. The sequels are usually never as good as the original movie. However, being second mover also has an advantage because you can see the mistakes the first mover made and try to fix that before you make the same ones. So they've got a lot of opportunity. They've got a lot of potential. What I understand, it's a rather large team. Silicon Valley might even have connections with the Harmony Core team. I don't know that they do, but it seems like they do. So that could help them also in the space. And then I would say the third one would be Mad in Art.
Madden Art.
Yeah. Did you get to meet with them and hang out with them at all in East Denver?
No, I didn't. I think I remember seeing a tweet about that. Yeah, I don't know enough about them.
So they are a platform trying to bring or make it easier for left-brained artists to figure out how to start engaging in NFTs and making money with their artwork that way.
Interesting.
So the two head guys are two artists that are somewhat technologically savvy. They built out this whole academy, which is a series of videos to kind of teach artists and left brain thinkers the basics. Then they've got a marketplace where they're doing drops and dropping limited run artwork. And the really cool part that I love is they're in the process of building a VR slash 3D metaverse, which is set to launch in 30 days or about a month. They actually had a little one set up and demoed during East Denver. And it's going to start with like your home and an art gallery type thing to where all of the NFTs you've gotten can be posted within the art gallery. So you can kind of show them off to your friends when you invite them over to your house. It's like the artwork on the wall type thing while you're hanging out, and supporting artists and again, bringing them into blockchain that way.
That would be pretty cool. No, that's a unique concept. It's almost like a pick and shovel play. No, I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, and Mex Mike, you're asking about the Spurs jersey. Don't have one in here, but I saw someone asking about Dirk. I got Dirk. I don't know where the jersey's at. I guess I don't have it up. I'll go get it though.
Are they all the way around the room?
Yeah, I kind of they just go around. Well, actually,
That's
no,
awesome.
there's one spot like right over there that's like I gotta win 4 more of them. I shoot for these. I win them. I don't buy them.
What?
I shoot for them like at a theme park. Like they let you win like 2 a day. And
Uh-huh.
yeah, I usually go on my birthday and I go win these, and that's it. They're fun, man. They're legit jerseys. They're actually the real jerseys. I remember like shooting for them at a theme park, and like
Uh-huh.
this was like the first time I earned or won them, and I would walk around and people were like, "Dude, that's a sick jersey." I was like, "You want to buy it?" Sold it to him for like $100, and I went and
What?
played and I went and shot again, and I was like, "Dude, this is like eating candy from a baby. It's amazing." And then they started limiting me to
Oh, yeah.
2 jerseys a day. So I was like, oh, the game's over. Let me just hoard all these things.
I
So
mean, the
now I
game's
hoard
got to
them.
protect themselves, right? They can't let
Yeah,
you
dude.
extract all the value.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I was like, dude, come on. Um, but yeah, so I want to mention these 2 things. You actually told me about them. Guys, you guys have probably made a lot of gains in DFK. In the description of this video, there are 2 websites. You got ukrainedao.love and unchain.fund. OGRE has looked into these websites a little bit. They do look the most legit, like you were saying. Um, if you want to give back and help out some people over in Ukraine, I mean, guys, in reality, you can get wrecked in crypto and you can walk away from the screen. In real life, over there, they get wrecked. They can't walk away. Like, there ain't no walking away. Like, they get wrecked and they wake up and they're wrecked. It's not fun. Think about giving some. I mean, guys, even if it's like $10, $5, help these guys out. Seriously, you would not want that to be what's going on with you. But yeah, anyways, Ogre, he mentioned he wanted to give away 2 heroes. I did a King Sumo, and I do have the 2 emails here. I'll send you guys an email as well. But I'll go ahead and read them to you. It's Mendez Angelo, and then we have Angel Dice. So those are the 2 emails. I'll make sure to send you guys out an email as well, to get your guys' addresses where you guys want the heroes sent. So again, the winners are Mendez Angelo and then Angel Dice. That's not the full email, but that's just like 2 of the portions of it. So if you guys are watching this stream, I will send you a email. Just hit me up with your address, and I'll get those over to Ogre. And he's going to give from the bottom of his heart. Love that guy, man. Seriously, it's good stuff, man.
Congratulations to the winners. If you're curious and want to look, Mendez, you won hero 121638. And Angel, you won hero 149071. So congratulations again to the winners. And thank you, Drake, for taking some time to give that little shout out to the people in Ukraine. I've been touched by war. I served in the army and spent some time over in Iraq and Afghanistan, and I've seen how horrible it is. And I hope that those of you who have never been in close contact or had to experience it never have to. But these people are living in a way right now that you can't even imagine. I mean, like Drake said, they wake up and their house is gone, or half of their house is gone, right? And maybe a couple of their kids with it. Or they're out there fighting in their streets to save their freedom from Russia and Putin and his maniacal, tyrannical ways right now. I don't know what the hell's going on in his head. But these people need our help, and this is what cryptocurrency is all about, right? It's already proven when the Ukrainian government had to shut down their banks, which sounds evil, but the reality is the way our current financial system works, when there's a catastrophe like that, everybody runs to the bank to get their money. But in reality, the bank ain't got your money. The bank gave it to somebody else, and they're keeping like receipts from the federal government that, oh yeah, like the federal government owes us this much money, but we don't have it, so we can't give it to you. So the Ukrainian government had to shut down the banks. People that had their savings that they wanted to use to get out of the country or buy arms and defend their country or do whatever they need to do, they can't get their money. But those who had blockchain accounts can. And by giving to those in the country who have blockchain accounts, we can help those people who are financially stuck right now, and help them hopefully survive or at least get the hell out of there or do what they need to do, to help push back the tide.
Yeah,
So,
no,
thank
I
you.
agree to that. Yeah, no, for sure. +1. Ogre, where can we find you, man? Like what socials? Where's the best place to find you in case someone wants to like follow you? Well, actually, they should follow you.
Well, I appreciate that.
Seriously, it's
On,
alpha.
on Twitter, it's LTC Yeti. That's the abbreviation for Litecoin, Yeti, YETI. Um, on
I'll put a link in the description below as well, so peeps can find you.
and then pretty much everywhere else, I'm Ogre Abroad. Um, I got like I suppose I got a YouTube channel sort of that I people when I was in the community and helping Wolf, basically being a community manager. There were a couple questions that came up commonly, so I made a few videos, but I haven't really done anything to maintain it here recently. So probably shouldn't give that out, but it might have something to do with Harmony Hub.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. So let's see. One other thing, I noticed a comment from John. He said, "How about winners randomly for people who just watch since we clearly engage with you, bro?" John, hit me up after the stream. I'll take care of you. Let's go ahead and leave you guys with a wisdom one-liner. This is how we always close the stream. If you don't know what it is, Yeti, it is just a book I'm going to pick a chapter and a verse, and
Yep.
it's in the book of Proverbs. But we're in Proverbs chapter 18, verses 12. This is completely random. It says, "Before a downfall, the heart is haughty, but humility comes before honor." That's true, man. Think about it. Be
I do.
humble, and then you'll be honored. That's how it
I
rolls,
like
man.
it. Yep. I love it. Some
Ogre,
serious speech right there.
dude, I appreciate you jumping on. John hit me up after the stream. I see you responded. So just hit me up. I'll take care of you. And Ogre, dude, from the bottom of my heart, thank you from the bottom of your heart for sending some heroes to some of my viewers, man. Really appreciate it.
And like you said, it's all about being humble, right? I didn't
That's
get
how it
here by
rolls.
being. I honestly think I got here by reflecting out. Nope, can't keep going. You already threw the last word in. Deuces, thank you for having me on. It was great, man. Looking forward to next time. And Fuge, I like it. Let's do that
Foosh.
sometime. Yeah, Drake, Ogre, and Climb Stream.
Oh yeah, dude. Let's do it. I'm
Hell
down.
yeah.
Oh
We'll
wait,
make
did
that
I
happen.
pressed the wrong button? It's this one. All right, dude. Yeah. Hey, we need to get that together. Seriously.
Free Martian stream.
No, Terrence.